Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the December 12, 2023 Little Rock City Board of Directors meeting. We would like to welcome those in attendance as well as those watching at home or streaming online. Madam Clerk, if you would, please call the roll.
Director Miller.
Here.
Director Richardson. Director Peck. Here. Director Hines. Director Lewis. Director Wyrick. Present. Director Campiris.
Present.
Director Phillips.
Present.
Director Adcock. Present. Vice Mayor Webb. Here. Mayor Scott.
Present. Let me now recognize City Director Joan Adcock, who will give our invocation.
Please bow your heads. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, to ask your blessings upon our city. We ask, Lord, that you'll be with our police department as they are saddened by the results of yesterday. Guide and direct us, Lord, to understand that we need to be, at this time of the year, understanding of all others and of understanding of ourselves. Guide and direct us through this meeting tonight that we would do your work and to your service for this community. We ask you to bless all of those employed by this city and all of those who serve us, Lord, that we understand that we are all your children and we all come to you for your blessings. We guide and direct us. Be safe as we go home tonight. Thank you for all things that you have given us and all the things that we can give to others. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Women, y'all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members of the City Board, we have 5 modifications for tonight's agenda, all to be added to the consent agenda. Number 1 is a resolution related to utility franchise fees. Number 2, amendment to the architecture fee for the Board of Directors renovation project. Number 3, resolution to replace security cameras in various city facilities. Number 4, purchase of tasers for the Little Rock Police Department. Number 5, an ordinance to issue industrial development revenue bonds. Is there a motion?
So move.
There's a motion from Director Adcock, a second from Director Wyrick. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. All will be transitioned to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, if you would.
Mayor, M5 is an ordinance, so we'll read it separately.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the consent agenda along with items M1 through 4.
Resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Smart Automotive Group in amount not to exceed $61,199 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of one Ford F-350 chassis with a 12-foot flatbed for the Parks and Recreation Department. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Siddons Martin Emergency Group in amount not to exceed $750,000 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of one Pierce Custom Velocity Rescue Truck for the Little Rock Fire Department and for other purposes, funding from the Limited Tax General Obligation Capital Improvement Bonds. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Scott Equipment in amount not to exceed $205,705 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of one Volvo L70H wheel loader for the Fleet Services Vehicle Storage Facility and for other purposes. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Southern Tire Mart LLC in an annual amount not to exceed $225,000 for tire retread and repair services for the Fleet Services Department and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Enterprise FM Trust in an amount not to exceed $1,885 plus applicable taxes and fees for a 5-year contract to lease vehicles for the Little Rock Police Department and other city departments and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with SHI Incorporated in amount not to exceed $70,903.88 plus applicable taxes and fees for the renewal of the business application system provided by QuickBase Incorporated for the Department of Emergency Communications and for the purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas, resolution number 15,836 of December the 6th, 2022, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract extension with 3 organizations in a total amount not to exceed $990,000 to provide after-school, out-of-school time positive prevention programs for 2024 as endorsed by the Commission on Children, Youth, and Families and for the purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas, resolution number 15,863 of January 17th, 2023, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract extension with the 2 organizations in total amount not to exceed $450,000 to provide after-school, out-of-school time positive prevention programs for 2024 as endorsed by the Commission on Children, Youth, and Families and for the purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas, resolution number 15,627 of February 15th, 2022, to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract extension with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arkansas in amount not to exceed $88,642 to provide community reduction services and activities to reduce community violence and increase public safety as endorsed by the Commission on Children, Youth, and Families and for their purposes. A resolution to authorize the city manager to allocate funds for the J.A. Fair K-8 Preparatory Academy 21st Century After School, Out-of-School Time Program in an amount not to exceed $143,000. And for the purposes, a resolution authorizing amendment to the Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution number 5,988 of August the 9th, 1978, and to further amend the amended and substituted lease and agreement by and between the City of Little Rock, Arkansas as lessor and Savers Federal Savings and Loan Association, Little Rock, Arkansas, as the original lessee, U.S. Able Mutual Insurance Company, doing business as Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Little Rock 400 West Capital Owner, LLC, in substantiality the form with substantiality the comments set forth below, authorizing the execution and delivery of the amendment, and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into agreement with the Little Rock Convention and Visitors Bureau for the continued management of the Little Rock River Market for a 12-month period beginning January 1st, 2024, and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to execute an amended and substituted lease agreement with the War Memorial Stadium Commission for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025, and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Alessi Keys Construction in an amount not to exceed $445,706.83 plus applicable taxes and fees to provide construction management services for the Little Rock Zoo's 2022A bond project, and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to extend the agreement with DePaul USA for a 4th extension in the amount not to exceed $380,232.20 to operate the Jericho Way Homeless Day Resource Center, and for other purposes. A resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution 16,151 of November the 7th, 2023, to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Canvas Community in amount not to exceed $175,537.90 for the Bridge to Work program. A resolution authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute a 5th amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Little Rock, Arkansas and the Oakland and Fraternal Historic Cemetery Park Board as lessors and the Little Rock School District as lessees to extend the lease for one additional term of 1 year effective January 1st, 2024, and to approve the basic rent for the year 2024 in the amount of $13,800, and for the purposes. A resolution to establish that franchise fees for the use of public rights-of-way by utilities within the City of Little Rock, Arkansas will be continued in the same amount in 2024, and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to execute amendment to the architecture agreement with Lockerbie and Associates Incorporated in amount not to exceed $20,846.29 for a total agreement amount not to exceed $60,846.29, which includes prior approved reimbursable expenditures for the remodel and renovation of the City of Little Rock's boardroom chambers. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Arkansas Public Safety Solutions an amount not to exceed $1 million plus applicable taxes and fees to replace and install security cameras in various city facilities and for the purposes. A resolution to authorize the city manager to execute a 5-year installment purchase agreement with Axon Enterprises Incorporated, utilizing the National Purchasing Partners Cooperative Purchasing Agreement for a total cost of $1,769,880.24 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 372 Axon Taser 10 devices and related equipment for the Little Rock Police Department and for other purposes. That concludes the consent agenda.
Move for the adoption of the consent agenda.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read item M5 for the first time.
An ordinance to authorize the entry into an agreement to issue bonds for the purpose of assisting in the financing of industrial facilities within the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, to be leased to Dassault Falcon Jet Corporation or its affiliate pursuant to the authority of the laws of the state of Arkansas, including particularly Amendment 65 to the Arkansas Constitution and the municipalities and counties industrial development revenue bond law, to declare an emergency and for the purposes first reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on second reading.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading.
An ordinance to authorize the entry into an agreement to issue bonds for the purpose of assisting in the financing of industrial facilities within the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, to be leased to Dassault Falcon Jet Corporation or its affiliate pursuant to the authority of the laws of the state of Arkansas, including particularly Amendment 65 to the Arkansas Constitution and the municipalities and counties industrial development revenue bond law, to declare an emergency. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Third reading.
An ordinance to authorize the entry into an agreement to issue bonds for the purpose of assisting in the financing of industrial facilities within the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, to be leased to Dassault Falcon Jet Corporation or its affiliate pursuant to the authority of the laws of the state of Arkansas, including particularly Amendment 65 to the Arkansas Constitution and the municipalities and counties industrial development revenue bond law, to declare an emergency. Third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had 3 readings. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. We'll now ask Jay Cheshire.
Emergency clause, Mayor.
There's an emergency clause. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Jay Cheshire, if you'll please come. Today's a monumental day as it relates to economic development in the state's capital city and share with the board what they're aware of, but to reiterate to those who are watching online and those in the audience what impact the City Board of Directors just had on economic development.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the City Board of Directors. Also have Michelle Allgood, who is the attorney for this bond issue for Dassault Falcon Jet. We had a phenomenal announcement earlier today after a lease approval at the Airport Commission earlier this morning. A company that's been here for the last 50 years, oftentimes kind of out of sight, out of mind. What people don't realize is the amazing impact that they and their current 1,400 employees and team members have on our economy. Today we announced a new 50-year lease with the company beginning January 1st of next year that will also include an additional $100 million capital investment with an additional 800 minimum jobs that are going to come as a part of this. So we are an amazing economy. We obviously, aerospace, as many of you know, is the number one generator in our economy statewide. It's our largest thing that we send to the rest of the world. That news got even better today, and thank you for the work that each of you have done, especially from a leadership perspective, to make today positive, possible, and something that we have a great smile on our face as we move into the holiday season to experience and celebrate.
Thank you so much, Jay. We'll now transition to our food desert update. As you know, we have a food desert task force, and I've asked Vice Mayor, City Director Kathy Webb to chair this task force, and she's going to give a great update on the hard work that she and the task force members have embarked upon and continue to do. Vice Mayor Webb.
Thank you, Mayor Scott, and I will be brief. Before I go into the report, I want to give a shout out to 3 members of the mayor's team, Marquise Willis, Bridget Newsom, and Christopher Harvey, who spent a tremendous amount of time working with the task force and preparing data and really helping out. You have a PowerPoint that is on a screen, but there will be a link to the PowerPoint. It'll be on the website for people to look at. Most of you already have the governor's task force report, but I brought a few extra copies if you did not get one yet. And I'm not going to go through each slide individually because most of the directors whose wards are impacted have already had a very detailed briefing. When we started months and months ago, we met every other week. We reviewed the report from the governor's task force or working group. Initially, when we started out, of course, everybody wants a brick and mortar store, and they wanted it already to be up and running by now, and that's not practical and probably not going to happen in a lot of cases. We did a survey to learn what people want. I'll talk about the survey in a minute. We did 2 reports to the mayor, to the city manager, acting manager, Emily Cox, and others who were there. Quite a few directors attended. Some of the directors and members of the task force attended the statewide summit in September. In a minute or two, Emily's going to tell you about a field trip that we took to Memphis. When we talk about the survey, I have to give a shout out to Director Adcock because she was responsible for getting more surveys turned in than anybody. We went to neighborhood association meetings. We went to outreach meetings. Director Adcock went door to door a little bit. So we had about 650 turned in, wards 1, 2, 6, and 7. It was also available online. There's a handout about the survey. It was available in English and Spanish. 30% of the respondents were over 65. And then the second largest group was 35 to 44. 10% of the respondents answered the survey in Spanish. About half of the people who answered the survey said they go to the grocery store 1 or more times a week. 40% said the distance that they traveled to the grocery store was a challenge. It varied from ward to ward. In Ward 1, 52% said the distance they traveled was a challenge. That was the highest percentage. Overall, 40% said they worried about food security. And in a state where about 16% of the people in our state experience food insecurity, to have 40% say they worried about it is extremely high. We had a number of recommendations, which at some point, hopefully in the first quarter, you may be asked to vote on some of those. But the first thing that we agreed on unanimously is to recommend a mobile grocery store. Director Miller, Acting Manager Cox, and I and several people from the mayor's office went to Memphis. And before I talk about the other recommendations briefly, ask Emily if she'll just share a couple of things about the trip to Memphis, Acting Manager Cox.
Thank you. Our field trip in October was, it was great. The mobile grocery is very impressive. I'll pass around some pictures. It has a refrigerated section with fruits and vegetables, and they also, and it pulls up to the same place at consistent times, and the people who were shopping there just couldn't have been more pleased with their experience. They have employees who were just incredibly helpful, helping people get into the mobile grocery store, and then if folks had requests or recurring items that they would like to have, then the mobile grocery made it a point to have those in stock for people. And it just definitely took a load off of the people who get to use this, shop at this grocery store. It really, or at the mobile grocery, it was obvious that it was a game changer for them in their lives. So I'll pass these pictures around, and it was an honor to go. Thank you.
Thank you. We will also recommend that we use some of the funds that we have for neighborhood or joint neighborhood market studies to determine what will work. We know where food deserts are, and it's easy to say we want this or we want that, but the reality is it's not quite that simple. So we thought a good use of some of the funds would be for people who are experts in this field to come in and say, you know what, based on the demographics, based on the other stores that are a mile away or 2 miles away, we're not confident that we could sustain a brick and mortar grocery store in this particular neighborhood. A third recommendation will be to work with policymakers to improve access to programs that currently exist, like SNAP and WIC, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and Women, Infants, and Children. We debated whether or not to include that type of recommendation, and because that's a big barrier for a lot of Arkansas residents, we ended up on the side of, yes, we should include some policy recommendations that are in sync with the governor's report, and hopefully some delivery vehicles that will be accessible to us from Rock Region. A couple of these things are still in the exploratory stage, but we had a committee that worked very, very hard, and thank you, Ashley, for giving everybody a copy. There is a very, very detailed report that Dr. Thompson from UAMS did with all of the data, and he and Marquise are responsible for distilling it into this PowerPoint that makes it a lot easier to digest. And as I said, we'll get links on the website so people can take a look at it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor, again, for your leadership alongside each of the task force members and the members of the city team to bring us to this point and really taking it along an inclusive journey to get to a desired end. Members of the board will now entertain a motion to go in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. We'll go into recess. We're now back in session from our executive session. Members of the board, we have an appointment for Rock Region Metro, Philip Lamley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Director Miller, you had a brief comment?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to announce to the public that the 12th Street Neighborhood Project will be going on this Monday, December 18th at 5 p.m. at the UMS Community Cafe. There will be free boxes of food for the first 20 people to go there, and there'll be demonstrations on how to prepare healthy meals. So wanted to make sure we made that announcement to the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to adjourn? I apologize. We have citizens communication. Cheryl, or I apologize because I can't read this, but Smith? Miss Smith. Yes, ma'am. Please come to the podium. Shirley? Cheryl? Sheila? Miss Sheila Smith. I'm sorry I wasn't able to read it correctly.
Yes,
My apologies.
Will you pull the microphone closer to you?
thank you. I come tonight to stand before you to tell you that as this December the 12th, 2023, I scheduled a meeting at 4 p.m. to discuss that, to tell you I own the government, I regulate commerce, I'm a channel networks search, I'm with the Commerce of Embassy of San Francisco, California, and I am needing you all to get with me in regards to this and about this, just about it. And they call me Shanna Montana. I'm the consult. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Ms. Smith.
You're welcome.
Members of the board, as you know, Ms. Smith, just so you're aware, once you have, how many more, did our time just go out? So we allot 3 minutes during our citizens communication, and so if you have anything else, the last, how many seconds? You still have a minute left. You want to share a thing with the board. Then after that, then we'll transition to regular business.
Let me see, is there anything else? No, that would be all I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You're very much welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Members of the board, as you know, this will, barring any emergencies that may call for a special call meeting, this will be our last meeting for 2023. I want to share our appreciation to each of you and your hard work as we have navigated and led this city through some trials, but we've also triumphed throughout this tenure of this year together, and very grateful for that and us passing our 2024 budget. With that being said, share our appreciation to each of you throughout this time and this holiday season with your families. And we will see everyone back on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at what time? 6 p.m.? 6 p.m. Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. This will be our first official holiday recess. And grateful for.
Never had one before?
We have not.
Oh,
To my knowledge, I mean,
record setting.
Dean or Director Computers or Director Adcock, have we ever had one before? Not like this. We have not. Awesome. Great. That being said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. See you in 2024, if not before.